Alright, so this is just a one day after these guys have been castrated or neutered. And you can see they're up and around a little bit. They were laying around yesterday, not very happy, but they're doing a little bit better now. This one's hiding under the one under here. Here he is. There's Remy. He's hiding under the milking stand. But I just want to talk to you a little bit about neutering. I want to postpone it as long as possible to allow the male goat's urethra to develop and prevent against any urinary stones. And you can read up about that a little bit. I'll talk a little bit about it, but it can be a really dangerous, even life-threatening condition if not treated and caught early. So we've waited 8 weeks on our boys. Some people do it as early as 4 weeks, but I think most of the recommendations are don't do it more than if they're younger than 3 weeks. 3 weeks or younger. I've even heard though of 5 to 7 month old bucks even getting the urinary stones. So there's 3 ways to neuter a buck. There's banding, the Bordizzo method, and then cutting. So I'll talk about each of those just briefly, and then the one that we do and why we do it. So the banding is a tool using an elastrator, and it's like a heavy-duty rubber band around the scrotum and leading to the testicles. And this essentially cuts off the blood circulation, and in about 10 to 14 days, the scrotum and testes will just slough off. Basically, the testes and scrotum die, rot off, and then fall off. The pros of this is that it's inexpensive. It's just an elastrator tool and a rubber bands, and you're done. And most goat owners can do that themselves. However, we feel it's the least humane way of neutering. Sometimes it can lead to retention of a testicle. There's risk of tetanus. And actually, a lot of European countries have actually banned this method because they consider it inhumane. I think it's inhumane just from what I've read. I mean, think about having a rubber band around your finger and just letting it fall off after a couple of weeks. The pain that you'd go through. Now just imagine putting a rubber band around your own or your loved one's testicles and waiting for it to just fall off. So this is something that we don't do. We don't think it's humane. We love our animals. We want to treat them with respect, and so that method is something that we just personally don't do. The second method is the Bordizzo. You could use a product called the emasculotome or the Ritchie nipper. A lot of people prefer to use this one. It's just a clamp-like tool. It crushes the spermatic cord and blood vessels leading to the testicles. It prevents the blood from reaching the testicles, and so that gradually it withers away and dies. You have to make sure that both cords have been properly crushed. This is pretty quick and pretty painless. The kids, I've heard, are up and moving with the herd right away. They might, mince a little bit at the pain initially, but they totally recover. There might be some swelling. The one thing you want to do if you are doing the Bordizzo method is to check the testicles in about 3 to 4 weeks. Make sure they're not growing anymore. And the weather, now that he is neutered or castrated, well, neutered, is called a weather. Now he's going to retain his scrotum, which is, his little souvenir. And you can see this guy's, they were cut. We didn't use the Bordizzo method on these guys. So 3 to 4 weeks, make sure they're no longer growing. If after 4 weeks the testicles look like they're growing, you're going to have to re-neuter them. The pros of this is there's a quick recovery, no chance of infection because you're not cutting, there's no blood involved, and it's a pretty humane way to treat the goats. It can be kind of expensive, that's a con. Price can range anywhere from $40 to over $100. Because it's a precision surgical tool, it's going to cost you a little bit more. And you can neuter as early as 4 weeks, like I said, but it's probably best to wait until they're a couple months, maybe even 4 months old or older, in order to do that neutering. And there's several sizes of Burdizzo or emasculatome instruments. You want to find the small one, the 9-inch one. That's the one that's available. It's a one-handed instrument. The larger ones, which are like 14 to 18 inches, are two-handed, and they're just too big for goats, especially your smaller breeds. So you just want to make sure you get the smaller one. The other one I mentioned, the Ritchie nipper, it's not really available. I have had a pretty hard time when I was looking to get one, of finding one. So if you're able to find one, that might be one to use, but I haven't really seen it available. So the last method of neutering is the castration or the cutting method, and that's what we chose to do with our little guys this time, because we are brand new to this. You know, we researched it, we looked at it a lot and wanted to do the best thing for them. So essentially what this is just you cut the bottom of the scrotum off and you pull out the testicles. So I apologize if it's gross, but that's what's done. It's a very reliable method, and it's fairly inexpensive. If you do it yourself, you're going to have to be tough-gutted and tough-hearted, because the goats are going to cry and scream, because it is painful. And hey, Remy. So the cons of this is that it actually is a cutting surgery. So you're opening the door to infection and tetanus. And like I said, this is not for the squeamish. We had a vet do this because we're still kind of experienced at it. It might be something in the future that we do on our own. I don't know if I'd be able to do it though. You need a knife, scalpel, some disinfectant, definitely keeping your hands and all the instruments clean because you are cutting. And then the tetanus shot afterwards, because you are cutting them and they can get infection. And then if you have an older buck, you need to be really careful, because the older buck that you're castrating with a knife like this could bleed to death. So watch that. And if bucks are over a month old, really they should only be cut by a vet or an experienced person and have some anesthesia for the humane treatment of the animal. So if you're doing it yourself, administer something for pain. Definitely do that. This is the humane thing to do, to help them deal with the pain of the procedure. Some options are Benamine. Give them a shot half an hour before you neuter. It can aid in the reducing of swelling, as well as making it easier for them to hold. So you restrain the kid. I've seen some videos of it where they hold them upside down, and then they just cut the bottom of the scrotum and grasp firmly to the testicles and basically pull them out. Sometimes sutures are used, but not all the time, because they can be just ripped out very easily with goats. They like to jump and climb on things. So our goats, they don't have any sutures or anything, and they seem to be doing pretty well. Today is the second day. I guess it's been almost 24 hours since they were at the vet. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys some education on the goats and what we do and why we do it. You know, we're not experts at this, and just because we do it one way doesn't mean that it's the perfect way to do it. So it's just the way we do it. And appreciate your comments. What I'll do is, after this one, I'll just take you back to yesterday, to when we were getting them ready to go to the vet, and you can see the process, and you'll actually hear some of their sad cries after they were getting castrated. And they did use pain medicine, but you know, it's not always, doesn't always take away 100% of the pain. So they seem to be doing pretty good today. Anyway, thanks guys. See you soon. Bye. We are going to take the bucks to be neutered, weathered, and so the mommies are not very happy right now. Hi Pearl. We got to take your boys to go get neutered. They're, I think, about 9 and 8 weeks old, or 7 weeks old. Here they are. We have Thunder and Remy in one, and the brothers in the other, and they're ready. So here we go. Oh, here they are, all done. They're perfectly fine. Hey, babies.
Can you take a picture of that red?
Yeah. And here is Remy. He's all done too. See, it was very quick and easy. That's all it is. Here they are. The boys are back in the barn. And we're going to leave them in here to let them recuperate. They got to nurse off the mamas for a minute.